All right, welcome to Lab Podcast, episode 23. Today we're joined by, and this is going to be an interesting episode, I think just based on the topic and the background of our conversation, but we're joined by Mr. BNZA.
Yes, sir. What's good? Thank you for having me, Henry.
Thanks for coming on, honestly.
Sure.
I feel like, we haven't known each other for that long. I actually don't even know how we met.
I think it was the Russell show. Was it?
Oh.
I think you were DJing for Enders, right?
Yes.
I briefly met you then.
Yeah, backstage. Yeah.
Yep.
In the mezzanine.
Mm-hmm.
You're an artist in your own right.
Yes,
I think
sir.
that's the context we met in originally, and then also you kind of have gone on your own entrepreneurial path in Toronto.
Yep.
And so those are kind of the things we'll go through today. But it's great to see you, man. Thanks for hopping on. Appreciate
Good
your
to
time.
see you, man. Of course.
Yeah.
I had to be here, I had to be here. Been peeping some of the episodes.
Thank you. A lot of legends in that seat,
For sure.
Also, it might not be weird for you, but I usually sit here, and some people they like their good side over here. So I moved to that side. And it's kind of weird, honestly.
I don't really care. It's fun.
But anyways, the first time we met was for the Russell show. Shout out. That's another Toronto man's right there. Maybe one day he'll hop on the pod. That'll be fun.
Yo, you guys should definitely get him on. I think he would be open to it, honestly.
I think, and the community we're sort of connected with, or how I got there in the first place, was a community called Exposition. And it was kind of just a Discord full of creatives, musicians, mostly producers, artists, I would say.
Yep.
And kind of there was a really big community of Toronto artists, specifically in that Discord. And I think everyone's friends. But everyone's, friendly with each other, and I think most people are pretty connected. And so it's nice and there's been a couple people from Exposition that have hopped on this podcast, and it's nice to have another one through here.
I remember I think it was like a year and a half ago or something. I got added to that. That's how I met Ian, right?
Yeah. Wait, so how did you get added to it? Who
Chris added me to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I think we started talking on Instagram and stuff, and then he added me to the Discord chat. And then, bro, before that, I didn't know many artists and stuff from the city. I started making music around 2019, but I was always on my own. I had my small little team, my friend Pemsky, my friend Rigdor, and then we just did everything from the ground up, we had no one helping us. We didn't know what the fuck to do, and it was just bootstrapping everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt too, starting out in the Toronto scene. I feel like I didn't really know anyone here, especially I started out probably in Discord and stuff. And so it was international, people from everywhere. So I wasn't really connected with people here. So I definitely can relate to that.
Yeah.
And then you kind of just build your team around you, and you guys kind of just doing your own thing.
Yeah, man, we just had a small team. It was honestly homies, I'm Tibetan, so both Pemsky and Rigdor both Tibetan, and then Pemsky hit me up. I put out a couple of songs on SoundCloud before. No, let's not talk about that. But and then Pemsky heard it, and then he's like, "Yo, let's link up," Yeah. And then because he was more exposed to the art scene, the nightlife scene in the city.
Yeah.
And he kind of mentored me, he picked me up, and then we just started working together. And that's just how my music career kind of began.
Yeah. So you said you started in 2019, but do you feel like you had sort of were you drawn to music before?
Oh, yeah. Of course. Growing up, we as Tibetan kids, our parents would put us in Tibetan arts. So Tibetan music, this and that. And so I was always exposed to music, all the way, looking back as kids, my dad would always be playing all different types of music. I was born in Nepal, grew up in India too for a bit. So I had a lot of influence from different music, musical genres and stuff.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like that side of the world's music isn't that exposed in the West, I would say. But when we think about if you actually look at the numbers of like how big the music over in India or that sphere of the world is huge. It's huge.
It's fucking crazy, bro.
And if you weren't like tapped into that or knowing, you would have no idea. It'd be
Mm-mm.
like some of these artists are like billion streams, like easy, you know.
Bro, you have a billion people in India, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and then the crazy part is like Brampton is like the hub of Punjabi music right now. It's actually insane. Yeah.
You know, I had a homie put me on I wish I knew the artist in the song, but it was like a really popping Indian
Is
artist.
it AP Dylan?
Nah, I can't even tell
Okay,
you,
true.
but he was like playing the song on YouTube, and I was like, oh wow, this is like really cool. But I didn't really think much of it. I didn't think I would ever hear it again outside of that context. I walk on the street, there's a car bumping it down the street.
Bro.
It's like, okay, well, like clearly, you know, I'm missing out on something like pretty big.
Probably a Dodge Challenger. Yeah. That's like their number one car.
And you said like growing up, that was like sort of your influence, and you're kind of surrounded by music your whole life.
Yeah,
So what kind of like made you decide that, you know, I want to be an artist, I want to write songs, I want to make music?
So like growing up, I would always like sing and stuff. Even in like elementary school, you know how you have like choirs and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then I remember getting picked as like one of the solo acts or whatever. You know, I was like maybe I could sing a little bit.
Yeah.
I could hold a note, you know, as a kid. And then did that, and then I liked singing and performing, but didn't do much of that after. Went to school, played a lot of sports actually. Like,
what was your main sport?
volleyball and basketball.
Volleyball? Okay, nice.
Yeah, did a bit of kickboxing too, and it's like sports was my number one love, you know. Like always want to be an athlete, this and that, but due to like genetic restrictions, I had to kind of put that to a halt. And then yeah, like even growing up, I loved singing alone at home. Every time people would leave the house, I was alone. Blast karaoke, you know.
Nice.
Bought my first like USB mic, I think in the 10th or 11th grade. It was like a Samsung CO1 or some shit like that.
Oh,
yeah.
jeez, okay.
Yeah, bought that. Would make like covers and stuff at home. Maybe post a little bit on like Facebook and stuff back then. But didn't really think too much of it. And then ended up going to university. Went for like business actually.
Where did you go?
I went to McMaster.
Oh, jeez, okay.
So I was there for like 2 to 3 years. It was fun, like living on res and everything. But I'm like, oh, fuck this. This is not for me, man. I didn't like school. I didn't like studying and stuff. So, and that was the point when I was like, yo, let me try to make my own music, you know? That's when I saw like YouTube beats, low-key. And then just started like experimenting on like GarageBand. That's where I started, GarageBand.
Nice.
And then
Okay.
And then made a song. I liked it, didn't show it to no one, and then just kept it to myself for a bit. One day was with my homie Rigdor. He's like my best friend. I grew up with him. And then I was like, yo, I was kind of drunk. We were all drinking and stuff. So I was like, yo, let me show you something. And then I played him the song. He's like, yo, this is you? And then, you know, he's like, this sounds really polished for like a first song. And I was like, yeah, I did it, you know? And then he's like, you should put it out. And then I was like, nah. He's like, just do it. He's like, stop being a bitch. He's like, yo, because I was scared, you know? Like, I was like, yo, what are people going to think of me? Are they going to take me seriously? This and that.
You're vulnerable too.
Yeah. It's your first time doing something, you know? Like, I was scared. And then he just like kind of talked me into it, hyped me up. And then I was like, fuck it. Then I just dropped it. And it was just like a SoundCloud thing. And then all my friends and family were like, yo, this is good. You should keep going. Yeah. And then, like my first artist name was like my actual name. It was Tenzing with 2 T's. Ooh. And then I was like, bro, that's like the most common Tibetan name. So I was like, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, bro.
Oh, okay.
I guarantee you like 80% of the Tibetan people you meet, they're going to be called Tenzing.
Okay, I'm going to remember that Tenzing, next time.
Yeah. And then, after that, I put out like 1 or 2 more songs. And then that's when I met Pemsky. And then he's like, bro, we should rebrand, you know, like act like a serious artist. And then we're like, fuck it. Then that's when we came up with BNZA. It was like a group project almost.
So what does BNZA stand for in this case?
BNZA is a Tibetan word. It shows up a lot in like prayers and scriptures and stuff like that. I just thought it sounded cool, honestly. And then it was Pemsky who actually was like, yo, how does BNZA sound? Because we're trying to come up with names, right? And then I'll definitely give him credit for that. He's like, what about BNZA? I was like, oh, I'm kind of rocking with that. And then, that's what happened. But as for the meaning, I asked my parents and stuff, and I think it like means like lightning or some shit like that. I'm not even too sure, honestly.
Okay.
I just like the ring of it, so
Yeah.
we kept it. And it was supposed to be BENZA, but when on Spotify, there's already some guy named that, so we just took the E out.
Yeah, you gotta get that SEO, you know what I'm saying? Wow, that's really interesting. And then, I mean, starting from 2019 all the way till now, did you go to school while you were starting to make music, or was that after you figured out that this is not something that you
So
wanted to do?
the summer after I think my third year in school or something, I took a year off actually. Took some courses in Ryerson and stuff like that, and then I was just figuring shit out too. Um, Honestly, that's when I started like going out with my friends a lot, enjoying myself. And that gave me like a lot of inspiration and just stuff to write about, you know?
Yeah.
Like honestly, my life was pretty normal growing up till then, so there wasn't like too much stuff that I could write about. Like maybe like relationships and this and that,
Yeah.
but like I wanted to live more and like just grow my experiences so I can actually be genuine as well. And yeah, as for like songwriting and stuff, I like to write about my own life, but a lot of my lyrics and stuff is also like people around me, you know? Like I look at their life and I was like, bro, my
Yeah.
homie is struggling right now. I was like, yo, let me write about this.
Yeah. Like you're living through that.
Yeah, you know? Or like I'll watch a movie and it would give me like inspiration and then kind of talk about that and then segue and like kind of connect it to my own life. And yeah.
No,
stuff
it's
like that.
a really interesting concept because I think I heard a story from Keshi where it was like, this guy is like happily in a relationship. Well, how does he write such sad music about like breakups and like feeling so sad? And it was like, oh, you know, he kind of puts himself in a state of like, you know, whether it be his friends' relationships or their struggles, and sort of kind of puts that himself in their mind state and writes from like that perspective. you
Oh
know?
yeah, for sure.
So that's definitely something that is like used a lot, I would say.
Bro,
You know,
'cause, like in the end of the day, no one has experienced like everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you kind of have to
yeah.
put yourself in like
Obviously, you
scenarios.
like to speak from personal experience, but like, you know, if they're close homies or you just see what's happening, I think that's just as valid.
I
That's
mean,
fine. Yeah,
that's what helped me, you know.
exactly.
So
Yeah, you know, and kind of talking about your experiences growing as an artist in Toronto. I know you played like a headline show last year. Um, and I would say, and especially at Drake Underground, which I think is a pretty cool venue.
Yeah.
And headline your own show, I think it's just like really fun.
yeah, honestly, that show was so sick to me because I grew up in Parkdale. That's where the Drake Underground is. So I would always hang out there before, like Friday nights and stuff, at the same venue that I performed in. They would play like hip hop music and stuff like that. So we would like turn up with the boys there. And yeah, it was sick. Like just actually having my first show, like my first headline show in the M6K, which is the postal code for Parkdale, right? And yeah, so going back to that, it's like M6K is like, it means a lot to me. That's why I have this right here. M6K.
Oh, okay.
I have it tatted, M6K, because like I wanted to rep Parkdale without repping Parkdale, you know, in like a cool way. And then my boy Pemsky, Rigdor, and I, we started a small collective called M6K, where where I would put music like through M6K, run events, all that stuff, just because it was something that we could rep, you know.
Yeah. Jeez. And how was your experience like preparing for a full headline show? Because it is a little bit of pressure, you know, like everyone's there for you.
Yep.
You kind of put together a good set list, got to perform. What was your sort of, or I mean, even building up to that, what was sort of your experience performing in front of a live audience in general, and like kind of what got you prepared for doing your own headline?
Yeah, so I think in 2019, I went to New York with my homies just to do like a small show there. That was like my first time performing in front of like strangers and stuff. Man, that was really fun. It was so fun. Like I wasn't like too nervous or whatever. I was just having fun, you know.
Yeah.
And it was sick just seeing everyone's reaction and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like itching to perform.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
like
since then.
fulfilling.
Yo, bro, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, bro. It's like you have so much power on stage. You tell them to do something, they do it.
They do it. They do
I was
it.
like, bro,
They really do.
that's fucking insane. And then, yeah, honestly, my main engineer Dot, he's like my big homie. This guy guided me so much through my musical journey. He's like a dope mentor, and just having him DJ for me and having my back, making sure all the sound, like it sounds good, him giving me advice, like in the green room before the show, that like helped me like calm down a bit. And then yeah, it was fun though. But like going up, honestly, I don't rehearse, or like I don't do rehearsals.
Oh,
Yeah, I just
that's a hot take.
I just wing it. I was like, fuck
Yeah.
it, it's more fun that way. I go
Uh-huh.
backstage, take like a shot, warm
Yeah.
myself up, and then yeah, just go up there and then fuck it,
Well, that's amazing, honestly.
Yeah.
Do you feel like if you did do rehearsal, it kind of would like take you out of your element where you'd be too in your own head? Or is it kind of like you like the free flowing and the freedom
Yeah,
aspect of just like hopping
honestly,
on?
I think my life so far has been very like free flowing, like I
Mm.
don't plan too much, which is also one of my weaknesses,
Mhm.
honestly. I feel like if I planned everything properly, it would be way more organized, but then it's like I kind of like the chaos too
Yeah.
sometimes. It does get stressful, but I kind of like that whole process too. It's like it's more interesting that way.
Mhm. I like operating in chaos sometimes too. I feel like you really find yourself in those
Bro,
moments.
there's beauty in the chaos,
Yeah,
man.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But I do agree that my life has been a lot better organized than
No,
chaos.
honestly, I don't even use the fucking calendar till this day,
That's
bro.
crazy,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. I just, if it pops up, I just write in my notes.
I had to convert to calendar. I couldn't remember
I
it.
think I have to now because I'm getting a little bit busy and it's
Yeah.
getting overwhelming. So,
It's a lot easier if I could just like look at the calendar. I'm like, oh, okay, I know what
facts.
I'm
Yeah,
doing.
yeah,
Yeah. You're talking about growing up in Parkdale, and that area is also known as Little Tibet.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so how was your experience, growing up in that area in Parkdale and Little Tibet, and how was the community over there?
Bro, it was so amazing, man. Like that Parkdale, like turned me to the man I am today.
Mm.
It's where I met all my closest friends, my brothers that I'm still like, they're my brothers till this day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we all went to school together. Like, there's a street called Jameson Avenue, which is a long street that goes from Queen to King, and there's just a line of apartment buildings. So as kids, every friend would live in a different apartment building, and then we would all link up at this park, like
Yeah.
our elementary school. It's called
Uh-huh.
Queen Victoria, and we would just go there, and then we get there, and everyone's just there, and then we just hang
Yeah,
out
old
as
man's Lincoln
kids.
like that.
Yeah, and like Parkdale has changed a lot over the years. Like when I first got there, it was not as gentrified as it is
Mm-hmm.
right now. It was a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more sketch,
Mm-hmm.
but that's, I love that. It was so good,
Yeah.
honestly. Like built a lot of character in me. I learned a lot about the real world there.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I was just exposed to stuff that maybe like if I lived in the suburbs or something, grew up there, I wasn't exposed to. And then I think that really matured me a little bit faster and just shaped me to the person I am today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing. And then, I'm sure it was like a come full circle moment, as you said, like being able to perform at a venue in Parkdale,
Bro,
and having all your homies like pull up and
trust
just
me,
like put on
man.
a great show.
It was sick. Yeah. And like the Tibetan community, they're so supportive, honestly. Like I was like probably the first Tibetan artist from Toronto to like actually make like English music. 'Cause there is
Mm.
Tibetan artists that make like Tibetan music.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, I wanna go past that and I wanna like the sky's the limit, So I wanted to be one of the first ones to actually try to tackle that challenge.
Yeah.
And yeah, still like doing my thing right now. Hopefully keeps getting better and better, but just want to like inspire the next generation of like Tibetan kids that there's like non-conventional ways to make a living and
Mm-hmm.
just to live life. It doesn't
Yeah.
always have to be like your stereotypical go to school, do this, get
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
nine to
Yeah.
five.
No, that's amazing though. I
Yeah.
mean, that's inspiring for me too, honestly. You know, talking about your, performing in Toronto and building that experience up, how do you feel like the Toronto music scene is in your experience? Because I do feel like I think our underground scene is growing a
Mhm.
lot more,
Definitely.
especially after COVID.
Yeah.
It does feel a little cliquey, I would say.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. So here's the thing, like when I first started making music, the first studio I actually started recording in was with Dot. It's called
Mhm.
669.
Mhm.
And I remember like I was like, bro, I need an engineer. I need a good engineer, like I need someone with a lot of experience that can also like guide me.
Yeah.
So listen to this artist called Anders before. And then he had a EP called 669.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, huh. Drove past like Queen Street, we saw 669, the studio, and we're like, fuck, bro. And then I like Instagrammed it, and then that's where I found Dot. And then I DM'd him. I was like, yo, man, I just started making music. Can I send you a demo? And he's like, yo, send it over, And then at that point, like, he's so established and I'm nothing. I don't even have a song out yet, Like, I sent him a demo. he didn't respond for like a day or two.
You're sweating.
I was
You're
like,
ah,
fuck.
nah.
And then he's like, yo, send me another one. Cause I was like, oh man, I probably sent him the most trash demo too. And then I sent him another one. He's like, oh, I fucks with this. He's like, come and record it, you know?
Oh.
Came through and then started working with him. And this guy's been my mentor ever since. Yeah. And like, oh yeah, going back to that, it's like, then 669 was like, that studio was like home base from like 2019 to like COVID pretty much, right? And that's where I was like finally meeting different artists, like different people in the industry and in the music scene. But there were like a lot of trappers, you know, like trap artists that come in there. So it was like different too. Like I'm just an Asian guy, I just started making music. Like, and then I was making like R&B pop type music, and everyone's like making like fucking trap bangers and shit. I was like, oh, I was like, interesting, you know? But a lot of those guys were cool. And like, that's why I met like a lot of the producers I know today as well.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because sometimes you're in environments where like, damn, I don't really make this type of music, but the people are really dope.
Yeah.
And you never know like where those connections can take you.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But also I met a lot of assholes too, you know? Like people acting super Hollywood, people like, I'm like, brother, chill, man. Like you just started too. Come on, don't act like that with me.
It's pretty wild that there are people out there like that.
Yeah. Which is why it was incredible, because after COVID and everything, you know, because of lockdown, everyone just cooped up at home. That's when everyone really started like developing their catalog and actually like fine tuning their art and getting better. And through Ian and like the exposition, that's when I was exposed to like the whole Asian side of underground music here, which I didn't know anyone before.
Yeah.
Like I would see like artists here and there, but I'm not gonna like reach out to them and be like, yo, let's hang out or anything like that. It's because I was always so like tightly connected with my crew, right? And yeah, just honestly, that was like an eye-opening experience for me. Just like meeting you guys and like your whole crew, all the lab guys and everything, right? You guys are so like chill and so welcoming. It was like there's like zero animosity. You guys just want to help each other and build everything up together, right? Which is what I feel like was missing from like the Toronto scene.
Well, I mean, first of all, appreciate those words.
No, of course.
We try our best. I think even for something like this podcast, we really wanted to make a platform for all Toronto creatives to come and just kind of speak their life, speak their mind, you know, like give them a platform to be able to express, you know, their creativities and who they are.
Yeah.
And it was something that, you know, working through the underground scene more, I think people are a lot better at being open and people are like a lot more connected, but there are still like groups out there where you're just like, damn, like I guess like there's that group of people, this group of people, you know, and sometimes you do feel like you are getting kind of stonewalled or Hollywood
For sure.
and it's I don't take it personally, like I get it for in some instances, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, like we're all trying to uplift each other. I think that's the most important part, especially for us, especially in the Asian community. I think it's really important that, you know, they say go fast, go alone, but go far, go together. You know, it's important to build a team around you. And it's important to, I don't think it's as fulfilling to like just do it on your own. You find your own success and that's it, you know? Like I think being able to give a platform for other people and to find their own success or prop them up and give them an opportunity, I think is really important as well.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like what helped me a lot is just having like really honest feedback from the people around me. Where they'd be like, yo, this is kind of trash, you know, like you should redo this or that. Versus like people that have like a yes man mentality where it's just trash, but they're like, yo, this is fire. And then you're just setting up your homie for failure, bro. Like, come on, man. And like, that's why I always ask people, I was like, bro, give me your honest opinion, you know, like, because in the end of the day, I don't want to make a fool out of myself too. And it'll help me, if anything. I don't take nothing to heart. I'm always down to grow and like learn, you know? So just having like the right people around me that are like honest and like trustworthy really helped me too. Just in life in general.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, that's really important to have. And that's something I like learned a lot over the last couple of years myself. Started out, you know, as my own artist producer and connected through Discord, didn't know anyone in Toronto. It was like I had to find success my own way. But, you know, connecting with everyone here and, you know, joining Lab and seeing how built out the Toronto community is, I think it was made life a lot easier.
Sick.
And people keeping you accountable, people like that can inspire you. There's so many different things.
Yeah, man. Honestly, like the Lab guys, you guys are amazing, bro. Like it's like a brotherhood almost, or like a family. You You
Kind of
guys
feels
are,
that way.
you guys are always together, helping each other,
Yeah.
and it's like to see that makes me happy too. Because I was
Mhm.
like, bro, and like just hanging out with you guys for the past year or so, it's been like it's been really good.
Oh, we appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
yeah.
that. Actually, something I was thinking about. First of all, for your own personal artistry and projects, what are some of the things that you're working towards right now, yourself?
Yeah, so I have been working a lot, just like building up my catalog still. I'm just stacked up with so many demos. I don't even know what the hell to put out. You know, you ever had that problem?
Yeah,
No?
yeah, I do. Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I don't know what to do. I want to do so many things, but I don't know what to do. And then just been so busy as well. And then, but this year I started like an indie project because
Ben Seasons, right?
Ben Seasons. Yeah, I really wanted to make like indie love songs because like and like my BNZA catalog is all like R&B, more pop, and it was like a little bit too up tempo. I feel like, and then putting out like an indie song, something I always wanted to do because you can be like much more like vulnerable and like
Yeah, express a different part of yourself. You know?
yeah, man, and
Yeah.
also like hit different cadences and just explore with different like production as well.
Yeah.
And I did that with my homie Dice, and I've been locked in with Dice for like the past year, and we've been like cooking up a lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you know, for Ben Seasons, so are you gonna keep dropping songs under BNZA and Ben Seasons, or are you
Yeah.
gonna
I think
juggle both?
I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep that side like fully indie and more down tempo, like ballad type songs, which will be like really fun to sing in concerts as well.
Yeah.
It's like a whole different vibe
Yeah.
because with my BNZA catalog, I'm always like fucking moving around on stage and
Yeah,
like
getting
getting hype and all that stuff. Whereas like like an indie catalog, you just sit there with the mic stand and just like sing like crazy.
And you know, you said you had a long on your plate as well. I know one of the main things you're working on right now is a cocktail bar called Mellowroom.
Yeah.
And I mean, just kind of as a side thing, one of the guys in lab, Dan, he also had to start kind of his own like cafe, or not his own, but he's part of a team that had to open like a cafe like business type. And so I have seen kind of the trials and tribulations and the amount of hours it takes to like open one of those. And you know, for you who is like focused on your own artist career, kind of going on the side quest of like opening your own cocktail bar, kind of how has been your experience been with that? And I know you have your business partner here. I don't know if they want to hop on right now.
Come, Shay.
Yeah, come through, Shay. Come through.
Let's watch the wires. You just said that.
Oh, thank you for hopping on. I know
I'll move to the middle.
I know you're a little camera shy, you said before, but I think having you guys on and telling your stories and the background behind how you guys started Mellowroom and the ideas for it, I think would help a lot with like the audience, and you know, kind of give more of a background to how it even all started.
Yeah, so like Shay and I've been talking about like we always like bounce ideas off each other about like just like businesses and everything like that.
Wait, first of all, how do you guys meet?
We met at a party like a couple years ago.
Yeah?
And then
Well, you guys just hit it off like that? It's just like, yeah, we're gonna do business now. You know?
no, like we're friends obviously, and
Yeah.
then we're just chilling, and then we would be talking, and then it would always be about like work or something like that, or look at how good this business is doing, or this and that, and then she's like really smart and like she's like exposed to like a lot of businesses and like just through her like job and everything, so we would just be bouncing ideas off honestly, and then yeah, I don't even know how it fully like became this, but at first we kind of wanted to like do a cafe or something, right?
Yeah, cafe.
You can talk it. Yeah.
Cafe.
You can go like about a fist apart. Yeah.
Out of fist
Let's
apart.
get nice.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's supposed to be like a cafe, right? And then
Yeah.
we thought about it, we're like, because my dad used to own a cafe, so I told her like, oh, I've seen how it's ran and all that stuff, and then we're like, bro, like there's not much you can do with the cafe, like there's already like a ceiling, like how unique can you get? And then she's like, what about a cocktail bar? And then I was like, it's a lot of work. This is that. And then she kind of talked me into it.
So it was like your idea first to do.
Oh,
a cocktail
Mellowroom
bar.
was all her idea.
Oh.
She even like Mellowroom name, the logo, everything. That's all her. Yeah.
Kind of, so Shay, like, kind of walk us through your background and what you do and how you even wanted to start with the cocktail bar.
Yeah.
and
Okay.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, like my background, I work in finance. Like my undergrad was in econ.
Okay.
Like I'm not a creative and I'm not in the creative scene. I moved to Toronto like 2-3 years ago.
Oh.
So I'm not very well integrated either. So it's just kind of, I wanted to always open a cocktail bar maybe in my 30s. I've worked in the industry for a couple of years, so it's just an area of interest, and I always thought, it would be a great creative outlet for me. Yeah, and then I met BNZA, and we just always talked about things like that. We just like, it wasn't something like immediate future, but the right opportunity came along, and I was like, you know what, we can't wait until we're fully ready. We should just give it a shot, and if we fail, it is what it is,
Yeah, I think that's an amazing mentality. I think people get really paralyzed by the idea of like, it has to be perfect, it has to be fully fleshed out. But what people forget is that you kind of just need to start to figure things out. You know?
Nothing is perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, yeah, we just kind of put ourselves out there, and then we're like, fuck it, we're just gonna try this.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been a lot of work, but
I can imagine.
it's been a lot of work, a lot of stress, but honestly, like now that we started and doing everything, it's
The pieces that are coming together.
yeah, and we're always bouncing ideas off each other, like trying to see how we can take it to the next level, make it unique and just grow.
I'll say the most interesting thing, or at least the thing that caught my eye immediately, was that you guys named drinks after big artists in Toronto.
Yeah, man.
And I thought that was really cool.
Nah, because like, bro, I make music, so also I wanted to make mellowroom something that's like connected with me as well. And I was like, why not? Because we were coming up with names for like drinks and stuff. She's like, you want to do movie titles? You want to do this and that? And then we're like, I was like, bro, let's just name it after like song titles of my homies, just to show love to their music. That way their fans will appreciate the drinks too. And then we try to connect every drink to the song title, you know? Like we had Miko, he has a song called Treat Your Friends. And then Miko's Filipino, so it's a ube drink, you know?
Nice.
It's like, I have my own drink. It's called Soul Tree. And it's like the earthiest tasting drink. And like Coven is like, everything is red. It's spicy. And there's like a chili peppers on it. Ethan's bubbly. There's like sparkling. It's like a bubbly taste. Yeah, so just something to stand out and also give love and, show love to the music scene.
Yeah. For me, right away, that like immediately shows me that they're like roots and community building for the Toronto music scene. And, we've had a lot of these people on the podcast ourselves, and it's really cool to see the way you guys not only connected your business idea, and also like integrate kind of the community building and your own passions into it as well. I think it's a really, really cool thing. I'm gonna go Saturday with Dan. I don't know if he told you.
Pull up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dan's been meaning to come because he's been in New York, right? I was talking to him. Yeah,
we're gonna pull up on Saturday. So this is the first time I'm gonna try it out, but I've been wanting to go. So it's really exciting.
I was like, yo, Dan, I need your opinion, man, because you've like done this too, So like you know what we've been through, and he's like, yo, don't worry, bro. He's like, I'm gonna pull up.
He knows.
And I just wanted to hear his thoughts on the whole thing too. So I can't wait. Yeah.
So when you guys first had the idea for it and to when you guys opened, how long was that?
Was it like 4 or 5 months? 4 months? 5 months?
Like the idea of mellowroom was last year, just nothing really happened, but I'd say like 4 or 5 months of the actual execution.
Yeah.
Oh,
we were like looking for spots and stuff. She would be sending me listings and stuff, and then it like we were getting there. It was getting there, and then it kind of fizzled out, and then it just picked up out of nowhere again.
You guys are kind of sharing a space with another cafe, restaurant type.
So during the day, it's a like separately ran cafe and a bakery. And you want to talk more about it?
Yeah, I mean, we share the space. It's like, I think it's economical, and it's also it's kind of in line with what we're trying to, like the aesthetic that we were trying to provide. Like I feel like the cafe vibes. I think in terms of the nightlife here, like I don't really go clubbing. I don't really like a lot of those places anymore, I guess. And I kind of wanted to create a place that was somewhere in between. And I think like cafe vibe, I always want to go to cafes late at night, but they're never open. So I'm like, I think that this is a good in between, and that's what was
Yeah, I like cocktail bars for that reason too, because like I do like to go out and drink and go to bars and stuff, but you know you don't want to always go clubbing. It's tiring, it costs a lot of money. It's just like
It's
it
too
just takes a
loud.
lot. It takes a lot out of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and cocktail bars are nice in between where the atmosphere is still you still got that, still lively, still out with friends late at night, but you
Oh,
also
yeah.
get like a more chill environment where you can kind of just sit down and talk and drink and just have fun. You know. So yeah, I think it's an amazing concept. It's near St. Lawrence Market, which is prime spot. I think it's amazing. And if you guys are in Toronto and ever get a chance to go, check it out. Mellowroom. When you guys open?
Mellowroom. Thursday to Saturdays.
And hours?
7:30 to 1.
Not shit.
7 to 1. 7 to 1. My
7 to
apologies.
1.
Nice.
7 to 1 a.m. Pull up.
That's great. So pull up, man.
Yeah, pull up. Yeah, and like even that whole process was like such a crazy experience. Like Shay like developed the whole menu by herself.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry. Finance background.
Finance.
Wanted to own your open your own cocktail
Finance
bar.
during the day, mixologist in the evening, bartender at night.
Oh, geez.
What can she do?
Yeah. What was your sort of inspiration behind like wanting to do mixology?
I think the sky is the limit. If you want to do something, just figure it out. So that's kind of what we did. And I think mixology is just awesome. Like I've visited a lot of cocktail bars, and I think that through that experience, you kind of understand what a good drink is. And then I think beyond that, though, Mellowroom isn't trying to be like the most advanced, the most, complicated drinks. We keep our menu relatively simple, but it's something that I think everybody can enjoy. When you drink it, you're not like, oh, that's alcohol, or like you're drinking it and you're like, oh, I don't really understand everything about it. It's just simply like a drink that you can enjoy. And I think that was the inspiration there. It's a lot of fun. It's creative, and I enjoy it.
No, it's actually like so similar to making music or just like life in general.
Yeah, really?
Because take in music, there's the melody. That's like the base of your whole song or your whole the final product.
Yeah.
When you're making drinks, it's the base liquor. So that's like the melody, and then you build shit around it. You add drums, you add different like a bass, and like different elements to make it all into like a full product. And you do the same thing. Like production and like making cocktails is the same thing, bro.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way. That's kind of
honestly
crazy.
everything in life is the same like that. Writing a book, bro, you have a main idea and then you add shit to it. There's always one main idea and then you add stuff to it. That's just life. Like if you think about it, everything is like that.
That's an interesting way to frame it, actually. That's really interesting. I think, especially for me, sometimes it is even hard to like frame, like when you try new things or you kind of just want to like a creative outlet that's not music, or at least for me is primarily that. You kind of get scared of like, okay, I have this idea, but I don't really do like film, for example. I'm not a script writer. Like I want to go out and shoot like a documentary. Like where do I begin? How do I start? And it's kind of intimidating, but like framing it like that is like really smart because it kind of makes it a lot easier you draw from a personal experience that you're already comfortable with, and then you kind of use that to like build towards something that's different.
Bro, human body's the same way. The skeleton, everything around it come together, that's you.
Yes,
it's
sir.
It's art, man. In the end of the day, and life is art, so it's the same shit.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, opening business, especially as young entrepreneurs, is not an easy task.
No.
Kind of, I'm sure there are a lot of hiccups or trials and tribulations you guys had to. Kind of, if you want to talk about it, what were some like ones that you didn't even foresee would be an issue or that you're dealing with right now? You guys?
It's honestly like knowing what people like to and asking people for feedback and stuff. It's so challenging because everyone is different, right? You give them a drink, two people try the same drinks, you ask what you like about it, and then one person likes this part and the person hates that part. It's like, so then I was like, who the fuck do we listen to? So we're like, all right, might just ask more people then, but it's like, it's hard to perfectly cater to each individual. That's why I think what Shay did was amazing, where she made like drinks that are like enjoyable by like vast majority of people. And and like a lot of our flavors are like Asian based, and she did a really good job in like masking the alcohol in a lot of the cocktails, because we wanted it to be a spot where people will be like introduced to drinks.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes like if the drinks taste too much like alcohol and it's
It might
too
be a
strong,
turn-off,
it
like-
might be unpleasant for
Yeah.
some people, right?
Yeah.
So it's a nice way to settle into it.
Mm.
Because like people be asking us, yo, is there alcohol in this? And I was like, yo, chill, 4 of these are good. You know? And then like after one drink, they're like, oh, I kind of feel it.
Yeah. Don't drink too much. Be
Yeah,
careful.
don't drink too much.
Be responsible, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow, you know, I'm not gonna say I'm an alcoholic, but I've had my fair share of experiences with it. It is nice to have a drink that is not like in your face all the time.
Oh yeah, I mean we can do that too if you want, but
Yeah, might have to when I'm there.
yeah, for sure.
Get a little rowdy, you know. And for you, Shay, like, kind of any like unexpected like road bumps or anything for you?
I think just recently, one of our bartenders that we hired, he had to move back to Vancouver, unfortunately.
Oh,
Yeah, he was great. Shout out to you, Spencer. He was awesome, but he had to move back. So just in those days, like I had to fill in as a bartender, and like I haven't bartended in very long.
Okay.
And I think making the drinks and being a bartender is very different. And I was like, oh, I actually enjoy this. So
Oh, you enjoy
yeah,
it?
Yeah,
I
she
really
killed
enjoy
it.
it.
Wow.
Thank you. But he thought that I couldn't bartend. And I was like, what do you think? Like, okay. But yeah, it was a good time. And I think I might do it more. Yeah.
I mean, I think the bartenders that I really look at, or that I feel like stand out to me in my life that I've met, I feel like they're almost guiding you, not only through your own life or like the drink in front of you, but also like kind of life experiences. They're kind of someone you can lean on and talk to, and it could just be a random stranger, but they make you feel really welcome in that moment.
Yeah.
So I think that's like a superpower bartenders have, I'll say.
Yeah.
And I love that people come to mellowroom alone. Like I think that like they're always like, I never gone to a bar alone, but I came here alone. And I was like, that's really great that it's such a welcoming environment, and they
Yeah.
really just enjoy their time. Like they can sit, just read a book or do something calm, and I like to encourage that.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool actually.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe I should try that.
Yo, pull up,
I wanna
bring
try
your
that.
laptop, bring your headphones, start mixing there, bro. Like it's called mellow room for a reason. We want you to feel mellow and chill,
Yeah.
right? It's not like a rowdy. It's not like a pub where it's so
Yeah.
loud.
Yeah.
It's like a nice chill spot where you can just de-stress, relax.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Wow. I mean, thanks for sharing your experiences, and
course,
I'm
man.
excited to go myself, and I hope you guys have a really fruitful and amazing business in the future. Sort of, I mean, obviously you guys just opened, but sort of what are your long-term goals for this project, for your future projects? Are you gonna like franchise out? Are you gonna try like different food spots, you know, even, or maybe an actual cafe, whatever it is?
Yeah, so we are trying to do as many collabs and events as possible right now, just to help get the word out and for people to actually like, try the drinks and stuff. Like the recent lab event we did, the industry mixer.
Yeah.
Like we provided the drinks there and everyone loved it, you know? And it's such a cool collab to do. Like it's just fire when you like people fuck with your product. They come there and they're like, oh, where is this? Like, what is this? I'm gonna pull up. And then they actually pull up, you know? Like,
Yeah.
it's sick. Just a lot of events we're trying to do, and like down the line just move to a permanent spot. I think that would be like our number one thing to do right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, hopefully we get there. Let's see how it goes. Pull up.
Support the homies.
Yeah, so fingers crossed, and yeah, the sky's the limit, honestly. Yeah, there's so much you can do.
And for you?
I agree. I second that. Yes.
Nice. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and thank you guys for like coming on and talking about it. I do have a question, and I think it applies to you too as well, Shay, especially as someone, you know, your primary job isn't in the creative space, and this is something that you feel like was a really good outlet for you, and something you wanted to share your sort of creative vision to the world. You know, I think a lot of people out there kind of struggle with starting, first of all, or maybe they are also in the same spot of like they weren't originally creative or didn't start in the creative space, but they want to express themselves creatively. Sort of what advice do you have for these sort of people to not only get started, but also, you know, take the leap and go out there and share their like stories?
I would probably say take baby steps to begin with. Like when I'm not really confident in something, I think at least begin to take the first steps. and try to develop something that you're really interested in, and make something, or if it's a portfolio or if it's a video, make something where it's actually tangible and you see all the progress that you've made, and then from there, quit your 9 to 5. I don't know. It's hard in now to really just like quit everything and okay, I'm just gonna be creative. I don't even know what that world is. Like, honestly, I think it's scary. So that's kind of why I'm juggling everything. But I think with anybody that's trying to get started, just take the first steps, I guess.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
That's really good advice.
This is so funny because on the drive over here, we were just saying we're like, yo, we're the polar opposites.
Yo, yeah.
Oh.
That's the
I
thing.
feel like that's why we work together as well. What she's good at, I'm really bad at. What I'm good at, she's maybe not as good.
You guys kind of cover the blind spots.
Yeah. So to like rebuttal what she was saying, I say fuck it, bro. Just jump into it. Honestly, that's just how I do it. Like, don't overthink shit. Like, it is what it is. At the end of the day, you're gonna regret it if you don't try it. Honestly, that's what I did with everything in my life so far, and it's led me to the person that I am today. And yeah, just don't overthink it. Honestly, just
overthink
do it.
It's your life. You gotta overthink it.
Nah.
You have to take steps and then get there. I think I'm very cautious, and he's like ready to like jump into anything. I think I'm probably more scared of failure or rejection or anything like that. He's probably less scared. So somewhere in between might be good. But I think this is really good. So maybe I don't have the best advice. Honestly, I don't think I have the best advice.
No.
I think to each their own. Honestly,
I think it's a testament to that. There isn't just the right answer. There isn't just one way to do things. I think for everyone, there's something. I think some people should overthink things, honestly, and just kind of think about what it looks like to quit your job and jump into the creative sphere. It might not be the most financially sound decision. Maybe you got to save up before and then do it, right? Maybe for some people, it is just a fear, and like you just got to get started. You just got to dive deep into it. You don't know what you don't know, right? And so I think it's a testament to like there's not just one way to do things. Go out and find your own path.
Facts.
That's what life is. Especially as a creative, you're sharing your life story. You're sharing your experiences.
Facts.
And one, you got to live life in order to do that, and two, like people won't know unless you just go out there. They don't know what they want until you like give
facts.
it to them, right? Exactly. So thank you for sharing your thoughts and words, and I really appreciate you guys hopping on and your time again.
Thank you, man. It was a pleasure, honestly.
Of course, no, my pleasure. For sure.
It was a great experience, honestly. Yeah.
As I always say this at the end of podcasts, but I learn a lot even just talking to various amounts of people, and they're sharing their life stories. I learn a lot and I take in a lot, and I hope you as a listener also gain something from it as well. And we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.
Peace, y'all.